Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the pins on that map. I did traverse that whole section of trail, but this video and the timeline leading up to where I stayed at in Damascus for a couple of days is that section of trail. And it was only one day of on-trail time. So we are finally getting back into this vlog series. Welcome back. It's been almost 2 months since the last vlog was published, and I have been crazy busy. Life has been go, go, go for the past 2 months, and I am finally back home. I was on the road for a few weeks, and I'm finally just finding the motivation and the desire to pick back up on editing again. I want to get this series done. It's sadly coming close to the end. If that's any hints to y'all. So this particular video is going to just encompass the 3 days during trail days. So the day leading up to trail days, like walking into Damascus, the Damascathon, and then the 2 days that were spent in Damascus for trail days. Let's kick it off, guys. We are going to get back into it with Friday, May 13th, 2022. A late night or early morning is typically lit by a red light, so as not to disturb your sleeping neighbors. This is a morning red light, and this morning begins at 4:30 a.m. I'm still slow to pack up my things, but gather everything into my pack, put on my hiking gear, and set off with the boys. And we are up and out. Forward we march 26 miles, hopefully, to Damascus for trail days. Woo! We trek on in the darkness for a short mile or so, and then welcome the morning light as we come to our first road crossing to take our first break. All right, so we're a little over an hour and a half into our journey this morning, and I've done a little over 4.5 miles. Not too shabby. I didn't sleep much the night before with the anticipation of the marathon into Damascus, but feeling pretty accomplished with the progress thus far, we sit and enjoy our snacks and coffee, feeling energized and ready to go another 20 plus miles. The pep in my step as we continue on is not just caffeine, but something else the coffee motivated in me. I try and enjoy the stunning scenery while pushing the 3 miles to Double Spring Shelter, where I have never been happier to see a nice big shovel waiting for me to dig a cat hole. 7 miles already done for the day. The next 3 miles pass in a flash. Oh, we've completed our 10 by 10. We've only got a little over 14 miles to go. Just got some sweet trail magic from Smoky Bear, and feeling pretty good. I'm sure that'll change at some point today.
It must.
But for now, I have a belly full of banana and Powerade and a little mini moon pie.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S, go bananas, go bananas.
I have gone bananas hiking with this guy. And so got a little bit of fuel and ready to keep on hiking. Woo! Then 16. Then we cross the Tennessee-Virginia border, 22 miles done for the day. And just before 5 p.m., we complete our 26-mile day, and boy, was it a triumph. We had made it to trail days.
Okay.
Oh, shit. We meet up with Smooth, whose daughter took our packs back at McQueen Gap Road, which allowed for an easier final 10 miles into town. He not only brings us back our packs, but supplements them with a beer too. And we're making our way over to Tent City. Gonna try to see if we can figure out
where we can get set up at. That should be interesting.
Best friend and I leave Dipper to catch up with Mulligan and a few other people who he bumped into as we made our way to Tent City. We set up our tents and then make our way across the street for some free dinner. I promptly shove my face full of tacos and dessert, and I'm just feeling so happy to be in town. And if that wasn't enough, the boys and I set off into town once more in search of more food and more drink. We traveled the path along the river in the dark, laughing and just having a great time. To wrap up the evening, we make our way to the more seedy side of Tent City, where the parties are going on near the bonfire in the trees. Trail days is sure to be quite the experience. All right, so don't mind the very obvious hairstyle change here. We are recording on a new, fresh day. Work got in the way yesterday. Only have so much time on my lunch break to break out and do this recording stuff. So we are back, though, to wrap up the rest of this commentary for time at Trail Days. So Saturday, May 14th, was mostly spent walking around Damascus, doing laundry, taking a shower, and eating. Hello. It is Saturday, May 14th, and I am here in Damascus, Virginia, at the Trail Days Festival. Showered, got a foot massage and wash and a prayer and a hug. And got some town clothes. Just feeling overall pretty good. And excited for the parade here in a bit. But for now, I think I'm gonna go and get some. Eventually, it is time for the big event, the hiker parade. We all join up at the far end of town, getting ready for the sign that it's time to walk. At the end of the parade, the AT class of 2022 sits on the lawn in front of the hiker yearbook bus and gets the infamous Odie speech.
You are royalty. Everything the light touches, from Maine to Georgia, is yours. It was in that moment that a crown was placed on your heads. I pray that you lead with the grace of leave no trace. I pray that you rule with the authority to enforce in-town hiker etiquette. It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. You are not following a trail. You are leaving one. Leave a great one.
The rest of the day is spent hanging out with various hiker pals, and we wrap up the night at the Wicked Chicken, enjoying some wings and beer. All right, so Sunday, May 15th, I take 2 videos all day long. One in the beginning of the day where we're waiting outside of the diner for breakfast.
Still waiting, gents.
No, we went in and ate and then came back outside to sit.
And one at the end of the day where the crew, Dipper, best friend, Clem, and myself, are enjoying some downtime in our cozy room, preparing to set off for the following day back into the woods. All right, so there was some additional footage that I was hoping to share with this vlog from Sunday, May 15th, but it's not footage that I took myself. So before coming out to the AT, I had synced up with an online content creator with extensive backpacking and thru hiking experience, and he helped me prep for this trip. Thus, me referring to him as the mentor at the end of Failure to Through. I honestly think that he would kind of hate being called that, so I prefer to call him friend now, albeit in a weird sort of met online friend kind of way. But I was able to actually meet Nick in person at Trail Days for the first time. Not long after I had arrived in Damascus on Friday, I bumped into Nick, and he had mentioned that he was going to be filming some interviews for a documentary that he was working on, and was wondering if I would be interested in being interviewed. Being a big admirer of his content, the chance to be a part of it was pretty exciting. I agree, and he says that he'll see me around town and we'll try to sync up and set up a time to get something filmed. So Saturday, I bump into Nick midday, and he says he's hoping to get an interview with dirty, stinky hiker trash types. And I had unfortunately just showered at this point and was in a fresh, clean town dress. So I wasn't quite fitting the bill in this case. So he asked if I'd still be around the following day on Sunday, and I said yes. And he said that we would try again then. Sunday comes around, and I'm trying to make myself available as much as possible by wandering around town. And I definitely am starting to worry that my opportunity to be a part of Nick's documentary has passed. As the day wears on, I am just kind of losing hope that I'm going to actually bump into him again. So I decide to call my husband, and I'm walking around town chatting with Keith, and then I hear my name being called from the sidewalk as I'm walking by this one storefront. I tell Keith that I'll call him back, and I stop and chat with Nick and his friend Chris for a bit. I tell them the same thing that I had told the crew at the Wicked Chicken last night, was that I had intended on getting off of trail somewhere near Roanoke in the following weeks. Their disappointment and urgings to continue with this journey definitely put some doubt in my mind. If anyone can put doubt in my mind on this decision, it would be the person who helped facilitate and inspired my being here in the first place. I get the impression that Nick and Chris are done recording interviews for the day, and I don't want to be one of those fans that overstays their welcome, so I go to excuse myself. And Chris asks if I'm in a rush to be someplace. I indicate that I'm not, and he asks if I'd be willing to chat some more, to do an interview. I, of course, say yes, and we find a nice spot near the river and talk about giving back to the trail.
Well, I do experience this just like freedom and independence by being here on trail, and this freedom to kind of forget about the real world for a little while. That, yeah, while it's technically free to be here, we should be giving back. It needs to be maintained by somebody, and it should be maintained by those who are using it and benefiting off of it. Because if we don't, who does?
And that's it. That more or less wraps up Trail Days in Damascus. So I might be setting myself up for failure here, but I'm hoping to wrap up this AT series this month. And we'll more than likely start on a new series of videos in the month of December. So stay tuned. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for watching. Until next time.